people who have very important work to do to lead this country.
The FBI drops a political bombshell. It's investigating possible ties between Russia and the Trump campaign. What does Donald Trump say about that? Pressure grows to protect bank workers as we uncover aggressive tactics at call centers.
They need to be able to say, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be ripping off Granny today.
Chiropractors under fire in Manitoba. Some claim they can help treat cancer and autism. Plus, they're cashing in on social media.
A lot of the time people are like, are you guys actually working?
By any normal standard, this was a bad day for Donald Trump. His country's top law enforcement official, testifying under oath and on the public record, dropped a bombshell. The president's campaign has been under criminal investigation for months in connection to Russia's meddling in the U.S. election. But that wasn't the end of it. Before a Senate committee, first FBI Director James Comey, then Trump's own national security advisor, flat out contradicted the president they serve. Lindsay Duncombe has the details.
Only in the most serious of circumstances, when the public interest is at stake, does the FBI comment on an ongoing investigation. This, says Director James Comey, is one of those times.
The FBI, as part of our counterintelligence mission, is investigating the Russian government's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election. And that includes investigating the nature of any links between individuals associated with the Trump campaign and the Russian government, and whether there was any coordination between the campaign and Russia's efforts. As with any counterintelligence investigation, this will also include an assessment of whether any crimes were committed.
And that is all he would say. The investigation is classified. Russians have been linked to the hacking of the Democratic National Committee, the leaking of Clinton campaign emails, and some Trump advisors did meet with Russians during the campaign. Comey wouldn't comment on any of it, but there's little doubt who Vladimir Putin wanted in the White House.
Putin hated Secretary Clinton so much that the flip side of that coin was he had a clear preference for the person running against the person he hated so much.
The White House insists there's no proof.
So you can continue to look for something, but continuing to look for something that doesn't exist doesn't matter.
But this is an administration with a credibility problem. For 2 weeks now, the Russia investigation has been overshadowed by the president's allegation on Twitter that former President Barack Obama wiretapped his office during the campaign. If true, the FBI would have known, but
I have no information that supports those tweets, and we have looked carefully inside the FBI.
The British spying agency.
As for the theory, mused about on Fox News and repeated by the White House, that British intelligence could have done the spying on Obama's order, here's how the head of the NSA responded when asked if he requested help from across the pond.
No, sir, nor would I. That would be expressly against the construct of the Five Eyes Agreement.
Republicans use most of their time to question how classified information made it to the media, concern intelligence officials share.
I've never seen such a sustained period of leaks.
The ethics of our profession as intelligence professionals is we do not engage in this activity.
Still, the committee's top Republican said today's revelations cast a shadow over Trump's presidency.
There is a big gray cloud that you've now put over people who have very important work to do to lead this country. And so the faster you can get to the bottom of this, it's going to be better for all Americans.
I understand. Thank you.
At a rally in Kentucky tonight, the president didn't mention the FBI investigation.
Regardless of whether or not the Trump campaign was in on it, officials believe Russian meddling caused confusion, chaos, and doubt in the 2016 campaign, and that they're likely to try again. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, Washington.
As Lindsay said, James Comey declined to provide any details, not even whether his investigation has uncovered any evidence of collusion. Here's his explanation for that reticence.
Some folks may want to make comparisons to past instances where the Department of Justice and the FBI have spoken about the details of some investigations. But please keep in mind that those involve the details of completed investigations. Our ability to share details with the Congress and the American people is limited when those investigations are still open, which I hope makes sense. We need to protect people's privacy. We need to make sure we don't give other people clues as to where we're going. We need to make sure that we don't give information to our foreign adversaries about what we know or don't know. We just cannot do our work well or fairly if we start talking about it while we're doing it. So we will try very, very hard to avoid that, as we always do.
Another critical set of hearings began in Washington today. The U.S. Senate began the process to confirm Neil Gorsuch as the next Supreme Court justice. Gorsuch painted himself as a fair-minded member of the bench.
We listen to one another respectfully. We tolerate, we cherish different points of view, and we seek consensus whenever we can.
He will need 60 of 100 Senate votes for confirmation and would fill a seat left vacant after the death of Antonin Scalia more than a year ago. U.S. authorities will reportedly announce a rule change for some air travelers as soon as tomorrow. Flights to the United States from about a dozen countries will not allow electronic devices like laptops and tablets as carry-ons. Cell phones and medical devices would still be permitted in a cabin. The full list of the countries hasn't yet been announced, but Jordan and Saudi Arabia will be included, and there are reports that some flights to Canada may be affected. The move is said to be in response to a recent unspecified terrorism threat. A CBC News investigation into Canadian banks prompted calls in the House of Commons today for a parliamentary inquiry. A series of reports by our Go Public team brought to light allegations of unethical and illegal sales tactics used at all the big banks. And tonight, there are new revelations about telephone banking. Erica Johnson has the details.
Welcome to TD Canada Trust Easy Line.
Problem with your online banking? Got a question about your statement? Lost your credit card? You've probably dialed one of your bank's call centers. But now call center employees at all 5 of the big banks tell Go Public they face the same pressures to upsell customers as hundreds of their branch colleagues recently revealed.
Customers deserve to know what's being done to them at their institution.
In emails, past and present call center employees for TD, RBC, BMO, CIBC, and Scotiabank say they can be fired for things like ignoring sales prompts on their screens.
It plays in the back of your mind that you're actually pushing on people. You're just making them spend money for no reason.
A former CIBC call center employee says she was pressured to lie to customers, says her manager told her, sell to them or you will lose your job. A former TD call center employee said it was stressful to be taking a call from someone whose card has been compromised.
And then you have a call saying, well, hey, can I increase the limit on your card too?
This public policy researcher says all workers in Canada need whistleblower protection so they can speak out and not risk being fired.
People at the workplace need to be able to be protected and refuse work based upon financial and administrative unethical and improprieties.
Now we know our own banks are working against us.
On Parliament Hill today, calls for the Liberals to act.
Will this minister direct a joint investigation into the marketing and sales practices of Canada's banks? Yes or no?
The government pointed to a review the banking regulator will do next month.
I have full confidence that the review will be thorough and that the agency will use all tools at its disposal to investigate and to address any non-compliance with the law.
So, no parliamentary inquiry, says the federal government. Meanwhile, emails to Go Public from bank employees about pressure, unethical behavior, stress, and sick leave keep pouring in. More than 2,000 and counting. Erica Johnson, CBC News, Vancouver.
New Alberta PC leader Jason Kenney has wasted no time on a key election promise. He met today with Wildrose leader Brian Jean to discuss uniting their parties. In their half-hour meeting, the leaders agreed to create a committee to discuss a possible merger. Jean wants unity under the Wildrose banner, while Kenney wants to form a new party. The finance minister chose his traditional pre-budget shoes today. Bill Morneau opted for black lace-ups designed by 2 Canadian sisters, though made in Mexico. He'll table the budget in 2 days. Global Affairs is telling its diplomats in the U.S. to stop using cardboard cutouts of the Prime Minister. Documents obtained by the Conservative Party show the Canadian Embassy paid nearly $150 for one last June. This cutout appeared last week at the South by Southwest Festival. The federal Conservative leadership race has turned nasty, with name-calling, an investigation into cheating, and calls for candidate expulsions. It's all over memberships as a deadline to get on the party's voting list approaches. Catherine Cullen has the details.
They're fighting to get to the top of the Conservative heap, and that battle is exposing an ugly side of politics. It all started last Thursday when Kevin O'Leary emailed supporters alleging the Conservative Party's rules were being broken, saying he had heard of, quote, backroom organizers signing up people who may not even be aware they are becoming members. He called it immoral and extremely unfair to real party members. That didn't go over so well with some.
Well, he could put up or shut up. This is a very, very serious allegation.
But the next day, the Conservative Party announced that it had found ineligible memberships, 1,351 of them, actually, though a spokesperson said the party couldn't determine who was behind them. Some media outlets, though, quoted unnamed sources claiming it was Bernier's team. Bernier responded by calling O'Leary a loser and rejecting the allegations.
No, I spoke with my team a couple of days ago, and we don't do that. We don't use that.
O'Leary was obviously happier about the outcome and prepared to take some credit.
We don't want to be accused of having vote rigging in the Conservative Party. That's why I shone the light of transparency on it as I did.
Now, that might have been the end of it, but obviously Bernier's campaign was irked because yesterday they took a shot at O'Leary, providing the Globe and Mail with a signed affidavit saying one of Mr. O'Leary's key organizers broke the rules when he offered to pay for party membership for 6 people. Though the Bernier campaign won't even show the document to anyone else.
All I'm saying is if you're in a glass house, best not to throw stones.
O'Leary's campaign denies the allegation. Surely some other leadership contenders are happy to stand back and watch Bernier and O'Leary tear each other down, though some Conservatives question what it might do to their party.
And that's something certainly that these individuals who want to be leaders of the Conservative Party, they have to take into account.
Lisa Raitt says candidates caught breaking the rules should be expelled. She insists it's not about helping herself by thinning the herd.
Thinning the herd? If you're cheating, you should get out.
All of this, and there's still more than 2 months to go before the Conservatives choose a new leader. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Ottawa.
The killing of a young child and attempted killing of a woman has shocked a southern Ontario community. Police have been looking for the man suspected of murder all weekend, but are now extending the search across the country. Ron Charles has more.
Police in St. Catharines, Ontario won't yet explain the link between 2 frightening events here on Friday. The murder at home of a 7-year-old boy, Nathan Dumas, and the stabbing of an employee at this RBC branch. She survived. Today, police issued a Canada-wide warrant for the arrest of Nathan's stepfather, Justin Kyer, on charges of second-degree murder and attempted murder. The police spokesman was cautious in explaining the case.
The relationship between Mr. Kyer and the RBC employee is a professional one. It was initially reported that his actions in the bank were a failed robbery attempt or that their relationship was of a domestic in nature, and that's simply not true.
Police say Nathan's mother, Whitney Dumas, has been doing her best to help with the investigation.
She's trying to help us and support us in our efforts to locate him, but she's also grieving in a terribly tragic situation at the loss of a son, in a way that few people could really understand or comprehend.
Neighbors on this busy St. Catharines street say they knew Nathan Dumas by sight. They, like so many others in this city, say they can't understand why anyone would harm this 7-year-old boy.
An innocent child's life was taken, and then to hurt another innocent person, it's very disturbing.
But with the little boy playing and everything, I would say hi and he would say hi back, and it just saddens me. I'm just shocked.
Police say the bank employee is in stable condition. They refuse to reveal how Nathan Dumas died. Kyer was last seen driving a gray Pontiac van like this one with a decal on the back highlighting the search for a missing BC woman. Ron Charles, CBC News, St. Catharines, Ontario.
Coming up, stars of social media turn their influence into dollars. But how do they keep from looking like corporate shills?
So Bauer sent me this brand new pair of 1S skates.
Plus, Canada's tech sector is desperate for skilled workers. Can the Liberal budget deliver on a promise to help? The British government will begin its divorce proceedings from the EU on March 29th. Theresa May will trigger Article 50 of the founding treaty, paving the way for Brexit.
We're going to be out there negotiating hard, delivering on what the British people voted for.
The process could take up to 2 years and will involve talks on a number of complicated political and economic issues. The British people voted narrowly for Brexit in a referendum last June. Pope Francis asked forgiveness in Kigali today for the role of the Catholic Church in the 1994 Rwandan genocide. He said priests and nuns who collaborated had disfigured the face of the church. 800,000 people were slaughtered in a matter of 100 brutal days, most of them ethnic Tutsis. The Federal Court of Appeal has rejected a request to continue the sale of some online streaming boxes in Canada. The boxes allow viewers to watch all kinds of TV shows and movies, often for a one-time fee. Bell, Rogers, and Videotron convinced a judge to stop sales, arguing they were losing subscriber revenue. A CBC News investigation is revealing some chiropractors may be using misleading advertising to lure patients. In a province that covers part of the basic cost for everyone, we found ads that inflated training and even claimed to treat conditions like autism and Alzheimer's. Katie Nicholson has more from Winnipeg.
Don't tell Dr. Henri Marcoux he isn't a doctor.
I am a doctor and I am scientific. You have to get that straight.
But Marcoux isn't a medical doctor. He's a chiropractor.
The body will immunize itself against measles and other diseases of infectious diseases.
And his opinions on vaccination have ignited a firestorm in the pages of this French-language newspaper.
But I can pass an opinion, professional opinion, just as valid as anyone else's, on the validity and the value and the effect of the vaccine in our society.
Marcoux's views are contrary to scientific evidence, and they're contrary to public health policy. And in Manitoba, chiropractors get provincial funding, nearly $12 million last year. In a statement to CBC, Manitoba Health said, "We encourage Manitobans to get vaccinated. If any practitioner provides advice that is contrary to our position, we do not agree with it."
We're talking about diseases that can kill.
Laura Brownson had a stroke after seeing a chiropractor. Ever since, she has lobbied against them receiving public funding.
It really angers me because they're not medical doctors.
The Canadian Chiropractic Association website notes it recognizes that vaccination and immunization are established public health practices. CBC combed through all Manitoba chiropractic websites. In addition to anti-vaccination messaging, we found some chiropractors claiming that the education and training of a chiropractor is virtually identical to that of a medical doctor. And we found claims that chiropractors can treat autism, Tourette's syndrome, ADHD, Alzheimer's, and cancer.
They have no right commenting on any of those because they don't treat those conditions. They shouldn't treat those conditions because those conditions are not amenable to the kind of manipulative care they provide.
The Manitoba Chiropractors Association didn't want to talk to us, but said it is now reviewing the ads that we showed them to decide if any further action is necessary and whether its members need to make some adjustments. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Canadian comedian Bob Robertson has died.
New video, Don Cherry's Rock'em Sock'em Fights from Shakespeare. You'll love it.
Robertson and his wife, Linda Cullen, hosted Double Exposure on CBC Radio starting in 1987. The show was on air for more than a decade. Robertson died yesterday in Nanaimo from complications of cancer. He was 71. Straight ahead, blogging for dollars. Stars of social media tell the secret of their success.
A new life for more than 250 people. The Arusa Sun carries refugees from Hungary, those who fought against a tyrannical government and then fled when their cause was crushed by Russian tanks. More than 3,000 people jammed the dockyard to shout their welcome. And they marched down the liner's gangplank onto Canadian soil, accompanied by the music of the Royal 22nd Regiment's band.
Canada is one of the few countries accepting Vietnamese refugees. Under our present quota, by the end of the year, we will have taken 2,000 from Hong Kong. For the past 6 months, it's been up to a dedicated 22-year-old Montrealer, Scott Mullen, to decide who gets in and who doesn't.
Okay, we will accept his application to go to Canada. How do you know they can adapt to Canada? Well, if somebody can sail across the South China Sea and spend 2 months on sea, a few months here in a camp situation like this, I think they'll be able to adapt reasonably well.
Noontime, and the would-be refugees are allowed outside for an hour. When the hour is up, they go back, single file, into the stuffy gymnasium that is their home. The Canadian government hasn't had to publicly explain why it's detaining these people for so long, except to say that it doesn't yet know for sure who they really are or whether they'll show up for their immigration hearings.
All of the other illegal immigrants that have come here, they haven't been treated that way.
The turbans and beards are a great influence.
Members of the local Sikh community are upset with the way the government and the way the Canadian public has reacted to this latest boatload of people. This is the image that stands out most in people's minds.
I think they should ship them all back where they come from.
Canada will give political asylum to 26,000 Yugoslavian refugees. While it's welcome news, refugee advocates say the Canadian government is playing a dangerous double standard. They say refugees from Somalia should get the same treatment as those from Yugoslavia.
As we know, the civil war and also the famine has displaced millions of people.
Yesterday, Somalis protested outside of immigration offices calling for fair treatment.
But Somalia is more than Sarajevo. So if they don't give it down to Somalia...
Different language, different culture, different lives. You can see the strain on so many faces. Crammed into a gymnasium, the refugees listen to the Prime Minister explain he hopes they can one day return to their homeland if they choose.
And I'm sure that you can feel at home among us.
Our end consumers, the 10 to 16-year-old hockey players, for many of them, who they follow is influencing the product that they're choosing.
In a game of who's got the most followers, success isn't just how many you have, but how you can leverage them into a payday. And companies are willing to spend big for a simple tweet or video if their brand can be directly connected to potential customers. That's exploded the industry of so-called social influencers, modern celebrities, part of a new age where advertising and authenticity go hand in hand. With the latest in our series, The Next Canada, here's Joanna Remiliotis.
New York Fashion Week, where the pre-shows alone are seen.
You look very cool.
A runway for everyone vying to be seen.
Yeah, sure.
Cue the Beckerman twins.
Thanks.
When it comes to getting noticed, these Canadian it girls can write the book on it.
Yeah.
Or rather, an incredibly popular blog.
We're fashion bloggers, I would say, is our actual job. We are editors, brand ambassadors, but in a way we're photographers because we use our phones, our iPhones. We're like phone photographers, and then we're always wearing lots of different clothes. So we're not. I don't consider myself a model, but we are definitely. When you group all those things together, we're bloggers. We're bloggers.
If you're a little dizzy and maybe a little dazzled, well, there are two of them. Sam and Kaylee Beckerman are a new type of celebrity, social influencers who create their own eclectic content and cash in on it.
So today I'm doing like a rock and roll kind of vibe. My friend Haruno from Japan made this for me.
What they wear.
I'm wearing a Chanel dress.
How they wear it.
A spring-summer dress that I winterize with long underwear underneath it because it's a little chilly here. Anna Karen calls it Swarovski sunny.
All of it matters to enough people. They've been able to parlay their look-at-me style into a lucrative living.
A lot of the time people are like, are you guys actually working? Like, is this work? And honestly, like even our dad said to us, is this actually work? And I was like, Dad, if we're traveling around the world, having a blast, having so much fun, if we're making it look easy, then that's a good thing. Then we're doing our job.
It's a job, all right. The Beckerman twins have built a powerful personal brand that has helped create a whole new type of advertising and a whole new multi-million-dollar industry. Forget about traditional billboards. The power of social influencers lies in social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's where their followers are, and that's why big companies are willing to pay big bucks for a tweet or a post.
From high-end to high whimsy and everything in between, company after company has come calling.
Hey guys, we're just headed to the Chanel Couture show.
Hoping the twins' bubbly brand will sell theirs to their 300,000 plus followers.
We work with a lot of different brands, H&M, Aldo, Coach, Chanel, Disney, Moschino, Apple, Jeremy Scott, I mean Diesel, the list goes on and on. They flew the collection in on a private plane, let's go!
The twins don't like to talk about how much all that brings in, but are happy to report they're doing just fine.
We're making a great living. We're making a great living, yeah. We're enjoying life and it's been really great. Feel really happy, yeah. We're doing some cool filming.
They can't help but strut. The Beckermans are at the top of the social influencer heap, and there are plenty trying to get there too, eager to be part of a new economy dominated by millennials, whose job is to post, and post some more.
That's good, ready?
And there's an art to turning into the next market magnet.
I work really well under pressure.
At YouTube's new Toronto office, the company's Next Up strategy taps emerging stars and gives them pointers on how to polish their brand on YouTube and every other platform they're on. Mark Swires runs the space.
You know, it's everything that we teach here from camera work, pre-production, post-production, editing, really getting down into the YouTube platform and learning how to use analytics, learning how to use real-time analytics, predictors, talking to your community. It's all those aspects, I think, that make a celebrity or a successful creator.
You still have too much space for my own liking.
This is, after all, big business. YouTube gets a cut of the millions of advertising dollars their top creators bring in.
She's got to be natural.
The key piece of advice sounds trite, but is all about being very true.
The number one thing that we teach is to be authentic. The top creators out of Canada, they're all very authentic. They're very true to who they are as a person. That's the one thing that we teach that really can take creators to the next level. And I think in traditional mediums or traditional methods in the past, that maybe that wasn't the case. We're seeing that transfer really, really quickly on YouTube.
And why are brands interested in that?
I think brands like authenticity.
Beauty blogger Brittany Sarah really, truly does love the camera.
Large movements.
She's a self-professed beauty product junkie whose makeup tutorials draw nearly 25,000 subscribers to her YouTube channel alone.
2, 1,
in the last year, big-name companies have started to notice.
I have Sephora and Revlon, I have L'Oreal, I'm chatty with Neutrogena, Garnier.
My favorite eyeshadow from the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette.
I love eyeshadow palettes.
I highly recommend this palette. These
Sarah's
shades
take
are just
on
so
eyeshadows
neat,
to lipstick influences her followers and may persuade them to buy those products.
So I'm excited to try these.
It's a form of direct advertising companies are more than willing to pay for.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
I think I was just out with friends, and I literally hit live on Instagram, and I was like, oh, just like, that was my work for the day, like that was it. That was all the work I did today. I clicked upload, and obviously more work went into that beforehand.
And how much did you make with that one click?
$250.
If you're starting to think you're in the wrong line of work, you're not alone. There are an estimated 25 to 50,000 social influencers in Canada. That amounts to $500 million to $1 billion in the amount of money they collect by brands. And that's not counting the newbies who are just getting started.
There you go. I think that's pretty good.
Awesome.
Most launch their online brand with little more than a camera and maybe a light or two.
Your hair looks good.
Anna Rubik is trying to crack into the beauty blog business. Her husband, James Rubik, is usually the guy behind the camera.
What kind of advantage does it give you to work with your wife on this?
Well, in media research, knowledge is power. And I have an amazing resource literally living with me.
You have 3 highlighting shades.
And that knowledge is key when he's not helping his wife. Rubik's day job is actually figuring out how much content like hers can command.
I only want to know people that have tweeted about this event.
Rubik works for a media company called Cision. It has the world's largest database of social influencers and calculates the dollar figure they can charge companies for even a mention.
They are charging anywhere between $25 to $200 for a single tweet. For an Instagram post, it could cost $200 to $1,000. Really, with the largest influencers in our database or in the industry, they get to sign their own ticket on what they get paid.
It's this really amazing connection that we have with, people around the world, and especially...
And no wonder. Top social influencers like the Beckerman twins have larger followings than some TV shows. And they have something even more valuable.
We're the Beckerman sisters, and this is our Toronto.
People trust their family first, social media influencers second, and the media and other brands third or fourth.
Second.
Yes, they trust them almost as much as they trust their own families.
And why is that?
Authenticity. Someone talking about their own personal experiences, sharing their own personal life with people, it's a very authentic voice. So when they're delivering a brand message, so if someone's discussing a product, it comes off to be as more authentic promotion than it would be coming from a brand ambassador who was being paid as a celebrity, or the brand itself putting out an advertisement on TV.
That authenticity is a social influencer's cred, their virtual currency. The challenge is keeping it real while raking it in and not coming off as just another paid celebrity.
What's in the backyard?
It doesn't get more real and more Canadiana than this. Huntsville, Ontario.
So I built this mini rink. It's only 8 feet by 8 feet. It gives me a little spot so I can stick handle, even laced them up. So part of it was for myself, just to maybe shoot some fun videos out here. Hey guys, Jeremy here from How To Hockey. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a mini backyard rink.
Jeremy Rupke shot to online fame with his How To Hockey tutorials. Some of them get nearly 1 million views.
So this wax is designed specifically for hockey.
Eager to capitalize on those potential customers, companies have asked Rupke for straight-up promos.
This is where I shoot a lot of the videos.
He turns them down because it would pay well, but it would cost him.
The people watching expect it to be a certain way. So I always try to maintain a standard and deliver something that's worth watching. I feel if I'm just kind of promoting or shouting about a product, it's not something anyone wants to watch. I want to create something that people want to watch, they enjoy watching, and they want to share with other people. Hey guys, Jeremy here from How To Hockey. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the process that you should take from when you get brand new skates to when you can skate on them. So Bauer sent me this brand new pair of 1S skates. I'm going to take them to the shop in town. Glenn is going to bake them, sharpen them, and profile them. And we're going to talk about that whole process along the way.
Hi, I'm Glenn from Sharply Sourced Sports in Huntsville. I'm with Jeremy today from How To Hockey, and we're going to be discussing heat molding your brand new skates.
Let's go. Perfect.
Rupke's videos do feature big-name goods.
The fit is just as important as heat molding.
Most of them are freebies, like these fancy new skates from Bauer that cost upward of $1,000. New advertising guidelines in Canada require social influencers disclose any form of payment to their audiences.
Hop back in.
So Rupke makes it clear he's reviewing the products, not peddling them.
So you can see the pliability of this.
Oh yeah. That should give you guys a pretty good idea on the advantage of baking a brand new pair of skates and how you can get more comfort out of them. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next video.
Bauer knows it can't trade in a pair of skates for an endorsement, but says giving away products is worth it. Daryl Hughes is the company's marketing director.
When we seed product or choose to give product to these influencers, it's not with the ask of please reply positively. We are confident that they're going to have a positive experience with the product when they receive it, and for the most part, they have, and we haven't received anything negative. But that is the risk you take when you are giving product for someone to try.
It's an absolutely gorgeous skate.
And when your target market is young people who follow social influencers, Bauer made the call to put its traditional advertising strategy on ice for the payoff of the social sway.
And do you see this being your strategy going forward?
Absolutely, yeah. Like when you think of where our end consumers, the 10 to 16-year-old hockey players, so where they're gathering their information from their peers in the change room and from their tablets and what they see online. And for many of them, who they follow is influencing the product that they're choosing.
But influence can be fleeting, and the key to staying relevant is working it. Back in New York, another day, another fashion show. And while the Beckermans make it look like such a breeze, it's a 24/7 gig. In just a few days here, they've had countless outfit changes, attended dozens of events, and posted more than 150 times. Sleep, it seems, is overrated.
How long do you think you're going to keep doing this?
Forever. Forever. Yeah, forever. Yeah, I think it's a forever job. I mean, we love what we're doing, and who says we have to stop? We're our own bosses. That's right. So, I mean, I could fire her, but then... and then I could rehire her and fire her. Kind of like Stack.
They are living the dream. Banking on the future of social media and intent on staying ahead of their own curve.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
One fashionable step at a time. Joanna Rumeliotis, CBC News, New York.
We can't all be social media trendsetters. Coming up, the urgent need to train tech workers.
It's important that we get this correct if we want to be a prosperous country.
The number of jobs to be filled is a shocker. Can the federal budget live up to its promise of help? Let's check the day's business numbers. The TSX fell 48 points. The dollar dropped by 1/10 of a cent. Not much movement on the markets in New York, and the price of oil dipped by 56 cents a barrel.
The game is Space War and is played on a computer. At the moment, it provides esoteric sport for young mathematicians at MIT. Someday, it may train them to fight a war in space.
Whether it's the nice zingy sound they make, the electronic challenge, or just the thrill of controlling what happens on a television screen, TV games are exerting a powerful fascination.
What do you think of the game you're playing?
I love it.
These students at the University of Alberta in Edmonton have developed a series of games that can be played on the computer.
The idea of the game is to manipulate the cursor towards your enemy until you get him in the center. And once you've got him there, bang, and he's dead.
Defender, Asteroids, Missile Command, the names of some of the arcade hits that are attracting millions of video addicts every day. Video junkies have a current favorite. Someone even wrote a song about Pac-Man. Pac-Man grossed more money in arcades last year than the movie Star Wars, one of the most successful Hollywood films. These are not games you would find in an arcade. They are the latest generation of home video, and this is where the real boom in the industry is occurring.
I don't play that much.
They're really addicted to this thing.
This is a story about a game some say is so exciting, so enthralling, so much fun, that if you ever start playing, you won't be able to stop. Your fingers flying over buttons as you jump, fly, crush, and kill your way through an alternate reality.
Alluring, fascinating, compelling. A curse.
They're video games, the flashy, trashy offshoots of the computer revolution.
Its programmers say we haven't seen anything yet.
The first, the best known, the sex change operation was one performed about 15 years ago on a young ex-GI named George Jorgensen, who went to Copenhagen and came back as Christine. When Christine's story was told around the world, there were applications from hundreds of young men who wanted to undergo the same kind of operation.
Well, Diana, now that you're officially a woman, how does it feel?
I feel absolutely marvelous, thank you.
Did you always want to be a woman?
As long as I can remember, sir, yes.
And now that you are, what do you miss most about being a man?
I never was really in intensity a man. or psychologically, so I miss nothing about my malehood.
Lee Davis of Ottawa was born a woman. Recently, after a number of medical operations, Lee Davies became a man.
I was only a kid. I felt different. I mean, I knew I wasn't, my body wasn't what my mind was saying I was. My mind was totally male.
Caroline's surgery 17 years ago gave her the woman's body she dreamt of and a model's salary of $200,000 a year. No one questioned her femininity. In fact, she modeled for 7 years before the British tabloids made her story public. She even played a Bond girl in a 007 film. It's only the British government that doesn't accept the change.
I'm sort of classified still as a man. I mean, I break the law every day if I use the women's toilet. I mean, I can't really use the men's. I mean, if I committed a crime, I'd be in a men's prison.
This Wednesday, I'm going to announce to all Canadians what our budget is, how much money we're going to spend, what we're going to invest in, things that are going to make a difference for all of you when you grow up.
That's another look at Finance Minister Bill Morneau at today's photo op with some of Canada's future workforce. The Liberals promised an innovation budget to help tailor graduates for work in Canada's tech sector. The industry is key to Canada's prosperity. But how much can a cash-strapped government really deliver? Our David Cochran found some answers.
All right, so how many desks are we looking at up here?
They're 70? They're about 58 desks that are going to be up here.
This space will soon be home to the next wave of Wave, a Toronto-based company that builds financial services apps for small businesses. Dozens of new high-tech workers will join the 150 who already work one floor below, if Wave can find the people it needs.
That's our number one challenge, is it's very, very hard to find highly skilled workers within this environment.
Wave isn't the only tech company on a never-ending hunt for talent. Experts in this field agree that by 2020, it will face a shortage of 220,000 workers. It's an enormous opportunity, but also a significant challenge. Technology is creating new jobs almost as fast as it's destroying old ones. Automation is eliminating jobs rapidly at every level of the economy, where even the McJob is being done by a machine. Some projections are that 40% of existing jobs will disappear over the next decade.
Technology has always been disruptive. What's changed this time around is the speed at which it's happening.
Economist Craig Alexander says the workplace is changing faster than the labor market or the education system can adapt.
So we have a situation where we have people without jobs, and we have jobs without people.
220,000 jobs without people by 2020, in one of the few sectors that reliably offers good jobs at a good wage. Canada simply isn't training enough people to fill the jobs that are out there, and many that do have the skills leave. The industry says that 80% of computer science graduates from the University of Waterloo take jobs in the United States, lured away by the giants of Silicon Valley.
Tech and innovation is at the center of wealth generation, and it's important that we get this correct if we want to be a prosperous country.
Getting it correct in this budget means, among other things, more federal investment in co-op programs for tech students and graduates.
We need more good people too, so.
To get them into the workforce and forge a connection with companies like Wave, to keep them in Canada and allow Canadian companies to grow.
That's where generation of tax revenue comes from, and that's ultimately how we'll fund the social programs that we enjoy in this country.
Tapping that opportunity is crucial for a government trying to break a cycle of low economic growth. But this isn't just an economic problem, it's also a social one. As technology wipes out the old jobs, many of the workers it displaces don't have the skills they need to get the new jobs.
Workers that get displaced very quickly, and then they have a hard time getting back into the labor market as things have changed rapidly.
I'm confident that will help Canadians to get the skills they need in a challenging economic environment.
The finance minister has promised a budget that will help Canadians deal with those challenges. But for weeks now, the government has been trying to downplay expectations for this so-called innovation budget. One senior government official told CBC News it will be a down payment on the innovation agenda rather than a fully formed plan. The government has already announced steps to fast-track the entrance of high-tech workers into the country. And the Prime Minister has personally voiced his support for lifelong technical training.
We need to do a lot better job of getting young people to understand what coding is.
But the government already spent big on infrastructure and child benefits in its first budget, and tight finances have scaled back its ability to deliver the full suite of training and retention programs companies like Wave are looking for, making it tough to close that 220,000 job gap by 2020.
I think the consequences are very much that the technology companies here will not grow at the pace in which they could. And that has a detrimental impact on the economy. These are very high-paying jobs. If we can find the talent somewhere else, we might open a second location in the US market or in a European market, and those jobs will not go to Canadians.
And that's the dilemma the government faces as it prepares to deliver its second budget. Can a budget short on new spending foster the innovation boom the country needs? And will it be enough to make sure the next great Canadian tech company stays in Canada? David Cochran, CBC News, Ottawa.
On Wednesday, you can count on CBC News to bring you all the budget highlights and details. Our live coverage begins at 2 p.m. Eastern on CBC News Network and streamed live at cbcnews.ca. Then at 4 p.m. Eastern, Peter Mansbridge hosts Federal Budget 2017 with analysis from Rosemary Barton and Peter Armstrong. That's live on CBC Television, News Network, and online. Finally, we'll wrap up coverage Wednesday night on The National, including a special at issue. Up next, Washington targets cities that shelter undocumented workers. So California is thinking big.
This is Niagara Falls, and if you've noticed a little more foam at its base lately, perhaps it's mainly because of the beer. Beer that's being dumped by the caseload into the custom shed washroom upriver at Fort Erie.
They are bringing more beer than usual on account of the beer strike in Ontario.
One Hamilton man who shuffled off to Buffalo to pick up a couple of six-packs got his comeuppance, but at least he, unlike many others, was able to kiss his beer goodbye.
A Canadian beer drinking tradition is disappearing fast, and the first place they're feeling it is in the Maritimes. What's vanishing are those squat and stubby dark brown bottles.
The Canadian brewery industry has spent millions of dollars to make the change to long-neck bottles, and part of that cost is a result of scenes like this. There's no doubt that Cape Bretoners have done their part to support the brewery industry, and some wonder why the beer couldn't have found its way to a charitable cause. It's a beer drinker's lament. 700 cases of supposedly good brew down the drain, so to speak.
Brewers say the change was inevitable. Light beer has become popular, and American beer and twist-off caps.
I find when you're drinking out of it that it foams up more.
But most beer drinkers have adjusted.
Oh, as long as the beer's still there.
Specialty brewers are on the hop these days, rushing to cash in on more relaxed liquor laws.
Now that Canadian liquor laws are changing, new breweries are springing up all over. There's one in the back of this pub in Kingston, Ontario. But the idea of drinking the stuff that's made in the back room is catching on.
It's got a hell of a lot more body than Canadian beer, I'll tell you that.
It's very smooth, it's very easy to drink.
Okay, Ernie, if you could pit your yeast there.
Ernie Knudsen has been coming to this so-called U-Brew store for about 3 years. It's easy and it's cheap. Making your own beer and wine in British Columbia is virtually tax-free. You can brew a dozen bottles here for about $10. Buying it at the liquor store would cost $15.
For the working men, yes, it's the working people, the working class people, it's a way better deal.
Most hours have 60 minutes.
This hour has 7 days. Tonight, Ralph Nader charges the Detroit car companies with running risks that can't hurt them, but do hurt us.
I could give an example of the Buick Roadmaster in 1953. The one with power brakes came onto the market, many thousands of them, with a defective braking system. Now,
You mean in the 53 Buick Roadmaster,
with power
a driver
brakes.
would literally go from normal brakes to no brakes like
That's
that?
right, that's right. This is documented in court records, which is very interesting. It shows you that the only way we find out about these things is through the cumbrous process of the judicial system. So what you want to do is make an overwhelming systematic case to overcome the resistance of industry. The stronger a case you make, the more scientists you have working on the project on an independent, objective basis, the more overpowering the forces of humane automotive technology will be.
A number of cities in the United States are adopting policies to help shelter people living in the country illegally. More so-called sanctuary cities are sprouting up, a preemptive strike against Donald Trump's campaign promise to take a tough stand against undocumented immigrants. But going against the feds comes at a price. Kim Brunhuber explains.
As anti-Trump protests go, this one, in the heart of downtown LA, was small and specific. These kids, too shaken to speak, are here because their dad is in the building right behind them, in an immigration jail. 2 weeks ago, immigration officials arrested their dad just a couple of blocks from school. Traumatic and terrifying, not just for his 4 kids, but for their classmates who also have parents who are undocumented.
I had a kid come to me saying to me, if they take my dad, can I come live with you?
Many undocumented residents are now reconsidering how safe they are, even in a sanctuary city. Los Angeles and about 40 other jurisdictions in California have some sort of sanctuary policy, which means limiting the amount of cooperation between local police and federal immigration.
Not my president!
Some, like San Francisco, have done this for decades. Others, like Santa Ana, scrambled to become sanctuary cities this year because of Donald Trump.
We wanted to send a very strong message to the president that his rhetoric was affecting our community.
We cannot allow our nation.
But Trump's budget proposal would cut federal funds to cities that don't cooperate with immigration officials. Santa Ana gets about 1/5 of its money from Washington. And since it became a sanctuary city, federal funding for some of its prison beds has already been cut.
El presidente dijo
Since Trump's election, this legal clinic for undocumented residents has been full almost every week.
la ciudad de Santuario.
But even though San Jose is essentially a sanctuary city, there's no real definition of what that means.
All we know is like, we're a sanctuary city. We're going to protect you. But protect you from what? I mean, we don't know for sure what that protection will entail.
We came in 1995 looking for a better life.
When she was 2, this student's family immigrated illegally from Mexico. Thanks to the DREAM Act put in place by President Obama, she was able to go to college, even hoped to become a lawyer. Now she's afraid to show her face because she's scared she'll be deported.
It's really hard for me because I tried really hard and I thought maybe it would get paid off.
One last hope, perhaps, a bill that California's Senate is expected to vote on later this month that would turn it into a sanctuary state, which is important, experts say, because states' rights are much more powerfully enshrined in the Constitution than those of cities.
It is a great, great protection for us smaller cities, because we then know that we're all in this together.
Tinajero says if the Trump administration truly wants to deport California's 2.4 million illegal immigrants, his agents are going to have to come here and find each one themselves. Kim Brunhuber, CBC News, Santa Ana, California.
Straight ahead, a Muppet with a message, and a beloved singer turns 100.
I'm Anna Maria Tremonti. Tomorrow on The Current, 3 Americans share their fears over losing health care coverage under the Republicans' proposed Obamacare replacement. For some, it could be a matter of life or death. That's on The Current, weekdays at 8:30 on CBC Radio 1.
Military here say they have never seen anything like it around the Lincoln Memorial, or for that matter, anywhere else here in the capital of the United States.
We lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time.
This park area on the Washington Mall, right underneath the Capitol Dome, has been the gathering place for many demonstrations, but none quite so strange as this collection of uniformed veterans, complete with medals and toy machine guns. The anti-war movement in this country is an ever-changing phenomenon. You never know quite what to expect next.
William H. Carroll from Atlanta, Georgia. 26 air medals and all the other stuff that goes with it.
Washington was the scene today of the largest anti-nuclear demonstration ever held in the U.S.
468, we don't want to radiate. 468, we don't want to radiate.
If you're not building for the future, you're stealing from it.
They call the Supreme Court decision a tragic mistake. And on this, the 10th anniversary of legalized abortions, 26,000 marchers vowed to begin a second decade of protest.
Organizers are calling it the biggest pro-choice rally in history.
We will never give up. We will never give up. We will never give in. We will never give in.
From Capitol Hill to the Washington Monument, they formed an awesome mass of people. Not the 1.5 million the organizers claimed, but the largest ever gathering of Black Americans.
We're not here to tear down America. America is tearing itself down. We are here to rebuild the wasted cities.
This was exactly the image organizers wanted, a pageant of Americans before a national icon. Summoned by a political commentator and a champion of conservatives.
This day is a day that we can start the heart of America again.
Look around you, you're not alone. You are Americans.
The National.
The National.
Tonight,
Sesame Street will have a new kid on the block next month, a Muppet with a big message.
Hi, Julia. I'm Big Bird. Nice to meet you. Julia?
Julia is a shy 4-year-old who loves to sing and has autism. The character was developed with help from autism experts and families. Creators hope she will help build awareness and promote acceptance. A special celebration was held in Britain today for a woman who helped the nation through some of its darkest hours. A tribute to Dame Vera Lynn was projected onto the White Cliffs of Dover, the subject of one of her most famous songs, to mark her 100th birthday. Lynn is considered a national treasure in the UK for inspiring hope and perseverance during the Second World War. Veterans and friends gathered at the lighthouse on the cliffs, but she was too frail to attend. Instead, Lynn celebrated at home in Sussex, listening via Skype as children from her old primary school sang her happy birthday. Looks great. That's the National for this Monday night. For news at any hour, you can always go to cbcnews.ca. I'm Wendy Mesley. Thanks for watching.